they said something about you desire to get married, and they asked me, do I believe in prenups and all that, and I was like, no, I don't believe in prenups for myself. I said, for other people, they should do it based on whatever they feel. I said, it would not serve me well to sign a prenup because for me personally, is that I'm saying to you, I already don't trust you. And I said, when I take vows, and if I don't trust you like that, where I make you sign a prenup, I need some more work to do in order to find out why I don't trust you. Because I also know me as an individual, I'm not married to money like that. I'm so optimistic that if you took half of what I brought to the table, God's gonna give me a tenfold. So at the end of the day, if I did right by you, and I honored you, and you divorced me, and you took half of what I had, I believe in the God of great reward. God gonna say, Laterras, I'm gonna honor you, and I'm gonna give you 100-fold. So if I had $500,000, you took $250,000, you're gonna be looking back at me and saying, dang it, I got out too soon because you took $250,000, you're gonna see me have $2.5 million. And you're gonna be like, this guy couldn't stop him, because that's what God does. And so I always say that, so I was doing an interview, and they brought that up, and I said that. And also in that interview, I ended up saying, and I'm gonna be married at the end of 2025. Now, after I said it, I got scared. I'll be honest with you. You know, I'm transparent. I said, now, who am I going to marry?
Nobody said that you know.
I ain't know nobody. I was like, how in the world am I going to get married by the end of next year? So I said, I need to watch what I say. I said, I'll be saying so much stuff. And God said, hold on. You can say that Gary Chapman will do the forward to your book, but you can't say that I can honor you with the wife that's going to open up the doors for you to even get the next dimension. I said, yeah, but this is a whole person. Like, this is a person I'm about to live with for the rest of my life. Like, who is she? He said, I got that. Fast forward, March, around February, I had this friend that I had been, she was just my friend. We was platonic. I was talking to her about women I was dating. She was talking to me about guys that she was dating. It was just real chill. And then I ended up having a dream. I had a dream that she was sleeping with another guy. And I got jealous.
I'm about to say, I know. I already knew you about to say. I've been there before.
Did you get the same dream before? You get a dream?
Go ahead. No. It's your story.
So I had a dream. I said, why am I dreaming about my friend sleeping with somebody? I'm getting jealous when the whole time I've known she dated guys and all that, and it didn't bother me. Now I'm jealous. So I went to her that next day. I said, did you sleep with that guy? What are you talking about? You tripping? Did you sleep with that guy? What guy? I was talking to you yesterday, and you was talking to this guy, and did you sleep with him? She said, you were tripping. No, I didn't. But why are you even asking me this? So I don't know. Well, let me ask you this. We've been friends for about 1.5 years. Can I take you out and just see if we got something romantic between us? She said, absolutely. And I said, give me a date. She said, I'll be available March the 18th. This is in February. I said, cool. I booked my flight while I was on the phone. I said, I will see you March the 18th. And then, and I went to go see her. She lives in LA, went to see her in LA. And then the 1-day trip ended up becoming 4 days because one of my friends, Daily Top, was working on this film, and he wanted me to stay there to watch the writer's room and all that stuff. And so I was sitting in there listening to the reading of the script. And so I was able to spend, it was supposed to be just a 1-day date, and I ended up coming to pick her up for the next 3 days and start building a relationship with her. I ended up telling her this. I said, I'm gonna tell you this. I said, if you don't have a ring on your finger by September the 1st, block me, because I was another guy playing with you. She got a Google calendar that says September the 1st. If you ain't got me this ring, block him. And she invited me to the calendar request. And I said, invite you, I'm gonna be blocked. When I'm answering your phone and September the 1st, you're gonna know why. And so what happened, I started talking to my therapist about that. I said, this is woman that I've been knowing for about 1.5 years. We've been platonic friends, but I'm just trying to see, like, what is this? Am I tripping? She said, that's the best relationships that start from friendship. Lean into that. You've always said you want to go from friend to fiance, stand on business, do that. And so I just began to be real intentional with her. Then I started inviting her into my therapy sessions. We started unpacking a lot of stuff between both of our past and our present and our future. And when God spoke to me and said, she's the one, I stood on business and made her the one.
So congratulations to you. And the wedding is
November the 22nd. It'll be live streamed on my YouTube channel for the world to see. Y'all, everybody will see who she is, my mystery bride. And we just having fun. She's a very private person. And so, as you can imagine, you go from being someone that's very private, then thrust into a platform with a combined social media of 1.7 million, and everybody judging your hair, your feet, your shoes, your clothes, your eyelashes, your makeup. That is a very heavy weight that I had to understand, because I was doing this for 5 years, but then as I was dating women that are more private, they like, man, gosh, I like you a lot, but I ain't gonna be able to be on your podcast. You know what I'm saying? They're like, there's nothing in me that wants to sit and do that stuff. And I've been like, but I want my wife to work alongside of me. But that was again my vetting process. If you couldn't sit on my platform and do what I believe God called me to do, which is my purpose partner, I need my wife to do that. I didn't want to do this work that I'm doing alone, because I know me. I know if I keep doing it alone, I'm going to feel like the greatest part that I get to participate in life, my wife is not participating with me in it. And that was the standard. And so gently, I would have conversations with women, and they say, I ain't gonna never do that. And I'd be like, well, you'll never be my wife. And I go about my business. And then I found a wife that was like, you know what I'm saying? I'm very private, but I love what you do, because she was already watching the podcast. And so she was like, I love what you do. And while that makes me uncomfortable, you're my leader, I will do it. And she said exactly what you said. I was like, come on, be my co-host.
That's amazing. Well, we're about to go to the audience for some questions, and I hope folks have some questions, because you have an amazing story, you share so much, but there might be a couple of individual questions coming down the pipeline here. Beyond the wedding, we have a movie coming. What's
it talks about, I'm developing a script for Dear Future Wifey, the TV series and whatnot. And so that's another part that I'm faithing for, to say, God, this is what I want to do. Is the reality shows I want to do around the dating space, and giving, not to sensationalize dating like a lot of shows do, but give real tools so that we can have thriving and lasting relationships. And so it's a lot of stuff around that space that I want to do. But most importantly is Student of Love. Because Student of Love, that book, it shares a lot of stories from the interviews that I had. It extracts things that I've learned from it, and there's some groundbreaking stuff in the book that teaches. One of the biggest compliments I got, I had this, my ghostwriter, it's a lady that I always use to write a lot of my courses or whatever, and I hired her to ghostwrite the book for me, and I told her, it was some things that I was talking about in the book that she kept disagreeing with. And she was like, I just don't agree with this and this. I said, listen, this is my book, you write what I tell you to write. And she said, but I don't agree with it. I said, when's the last time you been on a date? She was like, 5 years. I said, so how you gonna tell me about what works in a book and you ain't had a date in 5 years? You've been practicing abstinence for 7 years, ain't had a date for 5 years, and you wanna get married. I said, I challenge you. Take what I'm teaching in this book, apply it to your life, and I promise you, you're gonna have love. She said, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I said, you've been doing it your way, it ain't been working. Just follow what I say in my book. She did that. Why did this girl get married before me? That girl sent me, I'm gonna play the voice, I'm gonna make a reel out of it next week. This girl sent this thing, and she went on a date with this guy that she needed a translator with. And he came with a translator. I said, now you can't apply my lessons to somebody who don't even understand English. I said, you're doing too much. This girl did that, and when I tell you, 2 months later, this man proposed to her. Beautiful relationship. You look at them, they look like they are each other's, like they look like twins. And I was like, this is crazy. She said, Laterras, and she sent me a voice memo, and they went to the courthouse to get married, and they'll have a celebration in January. But she was saying that, she said, I know I argue with you about certain concepts, but I said, let me try it. She said, it worked. And it wasn't, and the book isn't about, here's 5 steps to getting a husband. It's not that. It's just teaching you how to show up in love. And if it don't work out, how to manage heartbreak where you don't internalize it. Sometimes you go through a relationship, don't work, and you be like, what's wrong with me? You depressed, you ain't eating for 2 weeks. It didn't work, it just didn't work. Be okay with it. Because we pray prayers like, God, open doors that no man can shut, and shut doors that no man can open. Then the door gets shut, and you go, oh, I can't believe it. God said, I was honoring your prayer request. You're like, but no, he was supposed to be my husband. He was be like, if he was supposed to be, he would be. Why are you crying about that? Why are you getting so upset about him holding up space that's stopping you from actually meeting your husband? When you talk to a widow, they will let you know every day that you spend with the wrong person is stopping you from meeting the right person. So honor that and say, okay, God, what did I learn from this? What did I do? Did I ignore red flags? Did I give grace where it wasn't warranted? Now teach me. All right, I showed up the best way I could in this relationship. It didn't work out. Thank you for the experience. Thank you for the lessons I learned from that. I'm going to apply it, and I'm going to do love even better with the next person. That's what the book teaches you, is how to internalize love in all relationships, not just romantic relationships.
Well, thank you for pouring into the book and sharing. Do we have a couple of questions in the room? I know we have a mic. Okay, hold on. We're going to bring the mic to you. And then we're going to come right here. Okay, yeah.
They recorded it, so they...
Good evening. I'm Corinne Richardson.
How you doing, Corinne?
I'm good. Mr. Whitfield answered this as a widow. I've been a widow now for 19 years. And of course, I just have not been interested in a second marriage. Why? I mean, I love this man. He was a God-fearing man. He had 2 sons together. They're done real well in life. Thank you, Lord. Had grandkids. I'm happy the way I am. People's like, you're still young. I'm like, no, I've been 7 years young. But why? I never had the desire of another man.
Why? Answer why. Don't keep the microphone. Why don't you?
I felt that I would be wrong for trying to compare him to my husband. I felt that he wouldn't be able to do what my husband did for me.
So you hear what you just said there.
But is that the reason? That's the reason I felt in my heart.
And it's a very valid reason, because so again, when you're trying to put a title on somebody else in the role that somebody else showed up, you're not authentically allowing them to show up in the way that they can show up. You're comparing 2 people. You have 2 kids and they both are totally different. You wouldn't say the worst parenting that I've ever done was when I tell the 2 kids I have that I adopted, and I go, see, Armani never did you're this. And I realized that didn't even work. Every time I would say that, it never made that kid ever say, well, I'm going to go ahead and do what Armani does. It just made him say, I'm not Armani. And so in the same relationship that you are having, you're talking about the issue with not applying. Let me ask you this, do you desire companionship?
No, sir.
All right, well, God bless you. Next question, please. No, if you don't desire, see, my whole thing is I don't try to philosophically explain what somebody don't desire. So if you just don't desire it, you just don't desire it. So if you're the type of person that don't if you're a person that don't need companionship, then there's nothing anyone's going to say that's going to make you want to have somebody in your bed, spending time with you and all that. You'll do more damage. You'll do more damage to that person than what you'll be able to give them, because they like, gosh, you just got this big old wall up and you won't let me in, and you'll hurt them by saying, I never wanted a man to begin with. And he's like, well, why don't you just waste my time? He's like, the dear future wife told me I should open my heart up to you, and I don't want to be the cause of all that. You don't want it, you don't need it, and it's okay. You don't have to be with nobody. That's the thing about it. You may have so much love in your heart that you give it in other ways. You give it to family members, you give it to coworkers, you give it to whatever, and that's okay. I don't want anybody feeling like there's something wrong because they are not connected to another human being from a romantic standpoint. And you're fine just the way you are, Queen.
Let me tell you, I do give that love to sick family members. I give that love to children. That has always been my love from a child up. So, like I said, I don't miss that relationship with a man.
So the guy you dated, how long ago was that?
Dated, I was married for 2 years.
No, I'm talking about, I thought you said that you had somebody. So you said you hadn't dated nobody since he passed away 19 years ago?
19 years ago.
No further questions, Your Honor. You can pass the witness. Pass the witness.
So what do you think about the Delta right here in the March 7th? what do you think is most needed, I guess, to thrive?
I would have to do more research. I would have to do more research to find what that is. Because I'm never going to just say what I don't know. So what I would do is, and I'll get caught up in it, I'll start researching, I'll start studying, and I'll start asking people questions about that, start interviewing, and then when I'm able to find out what that is, then I'll be able to share more about it. Because every city has a different spirit that reigns over it. I can feel it. You can go to certain cities, you feel like it's oppression over here. You go to some other city, you may be like, this is a spirit of homosexuality over here. You go to some cities, like, you feel like money around here. You know what I'm saying? You just feel it. So I don't know enough about this area to be able to speak from an intelligent standpoint about what's needed. Yeah, we got other people that got to ask questions.
We got one question up here.
I see other races coming in from other countries that are thriving, whereas the black man been here forever. Why can't we move a step up?
Because it's a belief. If you don't see yourself moving further, you're not going to move further. The Bible says, as a man thinketh, period. So the reality is that if you think, I can't do that, ain't nothing here, you can't make it here, you can't do that, guess what? You ain't gonna make it here. You're just not going to make it. God does not take your disbelief and change it to belief. He said, whatsoever man thinketh, that shall. He didn't say whatsoever I think about the man. The reality is that if you don't think you're not, just like I even said with you, you say, I don't even want to be with nobody. Okay. Like, I'm not gonna change your mind. I will be wasting my time talking, well, I'm going to set you up with a date tomorrow. I got this homeboy, I got him. He's 75 years old. He's fine. I want you to go out with him and watch. When you go out with him, he going to change your mind. Why? You be like, Laterras, you wasting your time. Exactly. So even to the mindset of what you're saying in these people, those other people, when they're coming into this area, they believe this is a place of opportunity. So that they go get that opportunity. If you don't believe there's opportunity here, you will not grab the opportunity. So the first thing you should do is ask yourself, God, give me eyes to see. Because sometimes you just can't see it. Say, God, give me eyes to see. I can't see it. I've lived here my whole life. My mama lived here. My mama's mama. Things. And you're like, I never even looked at this place. This is an old building right here. See, this coffee shop came from a vision. They didn't sit there and say, I can't put no coffee shop here. They said, you know what? We're going to do something different here. We're going to do this. And they had a vision for it. They decided to put some paint on the wall. They went and did a rehab on it. They went and got employees that did. They went and said, we're going to make our coffee like this. Our coffee beans are going to come here. They had the vision and they had the work. The unfortunate thing with a lot of people is they are too lazy to work out the vision. I'm done.
Next question. Yeah, question right here. Robert, I saw 2 hands. I'm trying to keep track of folks.
Thank you, Mr. Whitfield. Just appreciate your transparency. So I have a 2-part question, if that's okay, Tim. First question is, as you know, you said briefly that you adopted a son. How can I help my son become a little bit more transparent? Right, that's something that we're struggling with. So I don't know if you can speak to that and give us any advice. And my second question is, you told us to ask God for a big ask. Can me and my wife